So we're live? We're live.
Yes.
Okay. I don't see it on Facebook, do you?
I see it.
You see it? Okay, good. Okay. See, here's my phone. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jacqueline Thomas, and from Girls Pursuing Science, I'm joined today by two of my sister scientists here. We're going to do our Girls Pursuing Science activity live today, where we're going to teach you how to make hand sanitizer. So we're going to have a lot of fun today making hand sanitizer, and most importantly, learn the science behind it and the math behind it, and why we use the different ingredients that we do. So we are going to give an opportunity for more people to log on. We want to welcome our hosts, our live hosts that are helping us out today. We want to welcome all of our students, our kids. We want to welcome our parents to come on in this fun activity. And this is an activity from K through 8th grade, and you can make it as advanced as you like. We understand that we have students on from the international market, so this won't be too sciencey today. Although we will teach you the real science behind it, we want to make it as plain as possible so everybody can understand what we're doing. And at the end of the day, you can make some real hand sanitizer that's safe and effective for your family. So, Katrika, how many people do we have on? Because I can't see it.
It looks like we have about 10 people on right now.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yeah.
We're going to give an opportunity for some more people to get on. We don't want to leave anybody out. I have people asking me, like, how do they get on? How do they get on?
Okay.
So I'm trying to give people a chance to get on. I see how this is my first Facebook Live, and now I see how it is when people are looking and wondering what's going on, and I can get a little bit confusing when you're not accustomed to being live. Right. So, yeah, see, try to figure out what's going on. How many people we have, Katrika?
Right now we have 12 people. So people are logging in.
Yeah, so people are still logging in. So if you're just logging in, I want you to welcome to the Girls Pursuing Science live activity today. We will be making hand sanitizer, and we have some sister scientists. We all real scientists, and we know what we're doing. So all of y'all that's running out there buying hand sanitizer, we're going to show you how to make your own today and really bust some of those myths that may be out there. We want to tell you the science behind it and the importance of the science behind it, so you can make hand sanitizer that's both safe and effective for your family, and you don't necessarily have to run out to buy it. But we're also going to be very honest with you and tell you what's real and in the science world, and what's recommended that you do and that you do not do. So we don't want to create any false illusions that you have some real hand sanitizing that's working, especially in this environment that we're in today. It's very important that you be safe and keep your family safe. So we want to help you to be able to do that. And matter of fact, we're going to tell you something that's much better than hand sanitizer. So a lot of these ingredients, maybe you weren't able to find. You're not able to find alcohol. You're not able to find aloe vera. You're not able to find glycerin. That's okay. We have something that's much better than hand sanitizer that you should be using. But for the sake of education and what's going on today, we do want to come to you and do a live demonstration to teach you how to make your own hand sanitizer. How many we have, Katrika?
We have about 21 people.
21. Right now. 21. Yep. Very good. 21. So that's good. That number is climbing. We did say 9, and everybody that knows me that works with us knows that I'm a stickler for time. We did say 9. We did want to give people an opportunity to get on because I know it can be kind of tricky. And I got several texts saying, how do I get on? Where do I? So people still trying to find us. I totally understand that. But so we're going to go on and get started. I'm Jacqueline Thomas. I'm the founder of Girls Pursuing Science. I'm the executive director of Kids and Technology. I am a scientist. I do the fun science stuff. I am computer science and robotics. I also teach game design and I teach programming. So I like to have a lot of fun. On the phone, on the live with me today, I do have 2 of my sister scientists. And we're bringing social distancing to an all new level in Memphis, Tennessee. We have Asha Sims. She's in Charlotte, North Carolina, the home of GPS. Yay! And of course, we have Katrika Shaw, who's in Baltimore. So we're bringing a whole new meaning to social distancing here. So I want to tell you a little bit about our scientists here. You all mostly know me, and for those of you who do not, I'm an educator, I'm a mom, I'm a scientist, and like I said, I do computer science. We started Girls Pursuing Science and Kids and Technology in Memphis, Tennessee. So I've decided to come back home to Memphis and to do the live. I'm getting text messages. Let me stop for a minute. And I'm saying, people saying, I can't get on. What am I doing wrong? What are they doing wrong, Katrika?
They just have to click on the Girls Pursuing Science Facebook page and click the live video. So if they like the Girls Pursuing Science Facebook page, they can click on the live video.
Okay, let me.
Is that correct, Asha?
People texted me.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just text that back out so people can know that are trying to get on. Hopefully they're able to get on. Katrika.
Right now we have 29 people that are logged in.
Mm-hmm.
So people are finding it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People that probably followed my directions and said, go like the page first. Because you do have to like the page first to be able to see it. Is that what it is? Yeah, so that's the key. Okay, good deal. Okay, so we're gonna keep rolling.
Okay.
I'm Jacqueline Thomas again, for all of you that don't know and didn't get that. I'm the founder of Girls Pursuing Science, the executive director of Kids and Technology, and I am a computer scientist. I do the fun science stuff. I'm artificial intelligence, so if it don't quite work, it's okay. But we do have my serious, real, I have somebody else saying that they can't log on. These are my schools, my principals. Hold on one second. Let me tell her that she have to like the site. You have to. Tell Jerry. I have to. Hey, that's Jerry. You tell her that she has to like Girls Pursuing Science site. So she have to like the site. Okay, so she got my phone with the information in it, Katrika. So I'm going to turn it over to my sister scientist, who's a cosmetic scientist out of Baltimore, Maryland. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are.
Okay. My name is Katrika Shaw, and I'm a cosmetic scientist. I've been in the industry over 15 years. I've worked for Avon Products. I've worked for Procter & Gamble, where I did formulation for Pantene and also for CoverGirl. I have extensive ingredient knowledge and also knowledge about the industry. I have a bachelor's of science degree from Morgan State, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, and I also have an MBA from the University of Maryland.
Very good, very good. Hit those hit those hearts.
And also one thing I will add is I love cosmetics and personal care products. I'm a beauty junkie.
Oh, very good, very good. And have the science and the knowledge behind it. You're talking about the beauty of science.
Yes.
That's the beauty of science.
Yeah.
We're going to go back home to Charlotte, North Carolina. Our sister that's going to bring us some really sanity and peace and sanity in this insane world right now. from Charlotte, North Carolina, my sister, Asha Sims.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me a part of this whole event. It's often that you don't often think about including the mental health side of science, but it's a part of life. And I'm a licensed mental health therapist, holistic wellness practitioner, and been doing this for over 20 years now and working in different sectors with children, families. And my approach is integrating the body, the mind, and the spirit, which is a scientific aspect as well on how all have synergy. And well, I'm just happy to hold space here and be able to give any type of advice to any parents now that are dealing with the changes and the adjustment within our kids or within ourselves as parents during this time. So any way that I can give assistance on the science of the mind is my part here today. Thank you for having me.
Hold on one second.
Is it delay? Is my voice delayed? Or is it delay on her computer?
Maybe on her computer. It looks like we have 52 people who are logged in right now. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Who are logged in.
Very good. They're finding us and they're figuring it out. Just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and coming in. We just kind of basically gave a background if you're just joining us as to who I am. I'm Jacqueline Thomas. I'm a scientist. I'm a computer scientist. And we have Katrika Shaw. She's a cosmetic scientist. And we have our sister Asha Sims in Charlotte, North Carolina, who's bringing us some peace today. So what I want you to do, what we're going to do, we're going to go through, we're going to teach you the science behind. We're going to start off with Katrika. She's going to tell us the science behind the ingredients that are in hand sanitizer. I'm going to do the math behind it and show you why you have formulations to come up with products and how we as scientists come up with products the way that we do and the math behind that product and why it's so important. I cannot stress enough that you get that math right. And really and truly, it's fifth grade math, it's third grade math. So we're not going to get too technical with you today. We will just break it down, and we're going to be very clear and honest about what it is. And we'll be a little bilingual with you because we understand that we have students today on that are international and you're on the metric system. Our children here in America, we're on the imperial system. So our units of measurements are teaspoons, ounces, gallons, and of course in the metric system and with our international system, you're all using milliliters, grams. So it's a little different, but we're going to talk, we'll switch back and forth. For my American students, that's why I'm switching back and forth, because we have international students. Before I go any further, I want to welcome all of you all from the United States and around the world. And I want to say thank you. This is being brought to you today by the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. Big shout outs to them. Thank you for their staff, for all the work that they are doing and helping us to continue to bring education to our students, not only here in the United States, but abroad as well. I want to say thank you and welcome to all of my party people who are hosting, who are co-hosting us today. Throughout Tennessee, I have a lot of prior students that have attended Kids in Technology. Some of our Kids in Technology and our scientists are online right now helping us market and put this together. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you to the educators out there, all of my principals, all of my teachers and educators. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. So without any further, before we go any further, we're going to bring on Katrika, and I want you to talk about, first we're going to get started off with the virus for the kids who are listening to know what it is. We're going to talk about how virus spread, and then we're going to do soap versus hand sanitizer. And we're going to discuss the ingredients that are in hand sanitizer. I want you to hold on right there. Please do not go anywhere. This is some very interesting knowledge that you need to know that can actually save your life or prevent you from putting yourself at risk or putting your kids at risk. And it's going to be easy peasy. So take it away, Katrika.
Okay. So first, what is a virus? I'm sure you guys have been listening to the news or listening to your parents, and you keep hearing them talk about viruses. Viruses are the smallest organisms known, one of the smallest organisms known. We can't see viruses with our eyes. Scientists in the lab use microscopes in order to see viruses. Viruses cause illnesses such as the chicken pox, the flu, and the coronavirus, which everyone has been talking about lately, which we're dealing with in this world. How do viruses spread? When someone has a virus and they sneeze or they cough, droplets of saliva or water go into the air and they also go into surfaces. And if someone touches those surfaces or if someone inhales those droplets, they can be exposed, they're exposed to that virus and they can also become sick. So that's how viruses spread. Some viruses can live on surfaces for up to 48 hours. So we ask that if you do sneeze or cough, that you make sure you cover your mouth so that to prevent the spread of viruses. Um, Let me see. Also, soap versus hand sanitizer. The CDC, the United States has an agency entitled the CDC, and that stands for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And the CDC recommends that you use hand sanitizer when soap and water are not available. However, soap and water are the best way, washing your hands with soap and water are the best way to get rid of viruses. It kills germs, bacteria. So if you can't wash your hands with soap and water, hand sanitizer is the next best thing. And the CDC recommends that you wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. So you can count out 20 seconds, you can say your ABCs, but make sure you wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds to get rid of all of that bacteria and all of those germs. Did you want to do that? Want to go into the ingredients and the hand sanitizer, or want me to wait until the? Okay.
Basically, what we're going to do for all of the teachers and moms that want to do this at home, we do have a lesson plan. We do have our GPS lesson plan. You'll be able to download it if you registered. If you didn't, just inbox us. We will put it live so you can be able to download it. And that GPS, what we do, GPS, Girls Pursuing Science, what we do is before we go into having a lot of fun and making products, our girls, we do that. However, it's important that you learn the science behind it. So now we're going to go through the ingredients that you would need and kind of talk about those ingredients a little bit and why you're using one over the other.
Okay. So the main ingredient in hand sanitizer is alcohol. An effective hand sanitizer has 75 to 80% alcohol. Alcohol is a chemical that gets rid of bacteria and germs. Some people may ask, why can't I just pour alcohol on my hands? Why do I need the other ingredients which are in hand sanitizer? And the reason is because alcohol is very drying to the skin, and your skin can begin to crack, it can burn. So hand sanitizer, although it's mostly alcohol, and alcohol is the ingredient that's making the hand sanitizer sanitize, we need other ingredients in there to combat the drying effects of the alcohol. But alcohol is the main ingredient. And I asked, like, alcohol is flammable. So if you are working with alcohol, you should not be near any source of heat or any flames. And then also, when you're working with alcohol in the laboratory, scientists wear gloves, we wear goggles, and we wear a lab coat. We wear personal protective equipment when working with chemicals such as alcohol. The next ingredient in the hand sanitizer formulation that we're making is hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide also gets rid of germs and bacteria. It can also prevent infection. And there's a small percentage of hydrogen peroxide in the formula that we have today. The next ingredient in the hand sanitizer is glycerin. And glycerin is a humectant. And the word humectant means increasing moisture to the skin. So the glycerin is added to the formula to combat the effects of the alcohol. The alcohol is very drying on the skin, and the glycerin moisturizes the skin. So a lot of hand sanitizer formulations include glycerin. Aloe vera is also a humectant, so you may see formulations that include aloe vera as well. Water is used as a small amount in the formula, and the water is just to dilute it a little bit, but the formula itself is still 76 to 80% alcohol. You can also use fragrance and colorants, maybe a drop of an essential oil such as lavender, water-based colorants, but you have to use those in very small amounts because you don't want to alter the formulation. So if you use large amounts of colorants and fragrances, it may make the formulation less effective.
Great. Very good. So now what we're going to do is you can see a picture of the lab. I'm going to go and we're going to start putting the ingredients together. It's very important that you get the amounts correct. If I see one more formulation out there or ingredients and hey, you can make your own hand sanitizer, use a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or maybe 2/4 that, you can't do that. You just do it. And matter of fact, all of my DIY, you do-it-yourself people out there that like to make, watch YouTube or make ingredients at home, make sure that you have the right formulation or understand the formulation. And that's what I want to do today, to kind of take you through the math, some easy math to show you why as scientists we do what we do. When the formulation is put together, a formulation never changes. If we're calling for 76% alcohol, that's if you're making 2 ounces, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, a gallon. It's always going to be 76%. So many times when you get a formulation, and a formulation is, and we keep using that term, that's the science term, but it's to us as scientists what a recipe is to a cook. So it's the same thing. It's just you kind of just going through. Most of the time, you'll see the measurements already done for you when you're looking at a lesson plan. Do 3/4 cups, do a 1/2 cup teaspoon. So we're going to take it a bit further and show you like how much that ingredient actually represents, the math part of it. And while I'm doing this and switching over and going to the lab, I want all the parents, if you have questions out there, because that's going to end it for Kritika and I, and then we're going to go to Asha. If you have any questions about now your new role is not only a parent, but a teacher at home and it's getting the best of you. You're wondering like, what do I tell my 5-year-old? Because a 5-year-old is going to take a different approach or asking you different questions or making you feel a different kind of way than your teenagers. Or if you have an adult child. As a mom with an adult child, it's difficult. Like how you say, like, stay at home, don't go to work, don't do this, especially if your child is in the service industry, they feel like they have to go. So if any of those things are bothering you, I just want to kind of pause. If you just want to ask questions, any questions you want to ask, just start getting those questions together and putting them in. So she will be able to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to switch over and go to my lab and we're going to start making the hand sanitizer.
And there is a question from Angela. She's asking whether or not we can use 70% alcohol. The store didn't have 99%. The FDA recommends that you use 99% purity alcohol. 70% would not be as effective as the 99%. And I will put this disclaimer out there. The FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, does recommend that consumers do not make hand sanitizer. Just because there's the risk of contamination. Large companies that make hand sanitizer that you buy in the store do extensive testing to make sure the purity, like they test for the percent alcohol after the batch is finished. They also do testing to make sure that the alcohol kills the bacteria. So with that being said, we do think it's still a good idea to inform consumers about the ingredients that are in hand sanitizer and about the formulation of hand sanitizer. And Jacqueline, we're unable to hear you. No. Yeah, we're unable to hear you.
Yeah, you definitely have to unmute this one, I think.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I didn't mute it.
You do?
This one is.
You're afraid to turn it on.
Can you see mute? Can you see your unmute it?
No. Is it? Okay. Now you turn that on. Okay. Can you hear me now, Katrika?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
There is one more question, Jacqueline.
What we're going to do is, of course, like you said, we're always protected. So I have my lab jacket on, and we wear lab jackets to keep our clothing protected from anything from spilling. And also, we have gloves that we put on. So if you're doing this at home with your kids, Katrika, you know what another question is, because some people on a lot of recipes I've seen or formulations I've seen circling around the internet talks about alcohol for consumption, drinking alcohol, opposed to topical alcohol that we use on our bodies. Could you kind of tell the audience like what's the difference and why we don't use the drinking consumption alcohol, other than the fact that we work with your kids?
Right. The reason drinking alcohol for consumption cannot be used in hand sanitizer formulations is because the purity is not high enough. So we're working with alcohol that's 99% pure. So even if you have an alcohol that's 80 proof, the purity is only 40%. So if you have an alcohol that's 100 proof, which I don't know, I guess there are some, the purity would only be 50%. So we need alcohol that's 99% pure. Okay. So, and Jacqueline, there is not to interrupt, there's a question from Tamiko, and she's asking if the soap base provided by Girls Pursuing Science, is it glycerin? Right. No, it's not. The soap that's in the Girls Pursuing Science kit is for soap, and it's for making shampoos, it's for making bubble baths. Glycerin, it's basically you're going to find glycerin in Walmart in the hair department. A lot of times we use glycerin for our hair, right, Katrika? We use it for our hair. It's also used for your body as well. So it is, I guess, in the soap department. Yeah. In the soap department and in drugstores, and also it may be in the hair department as well. Okay. So we're going to go. Now we're on the engineering section of our lesson plan. So what we need is our ingredients. Our formulations calls for alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, and mine is a little bit different from you because we do use real products that we don't get from retail stores. We actually get them from the manufacturer, because we do deal with kids, and it's very important that we know what's in the ingredients are safe for our kids. So this is hydrogen peroxide. This is glycerin. And this is water. Now, this is my water container. Your water should be boiled or distilled before you use your water. You want to use it as soon as possible once you have the water. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure the correct amount. And I have my beaker here and I have a stirrer. If you don't have a beaker at home, you can use a cup. So I've measured my alcohol already. This is my alcohol. Let me show you how I got that. The alcohol measurement is, what we're using is for alcohol, 45 milliliters or 1.5 ounces. Because our formulation calls for 76% alcohol. So you got to have 76% of, and today, this is my container. I'm making 2 ounces. So it's 76% of 2. The 2 represents the 2 ounces. The 76% is the content of alcohol
that I need in my hand sanitizer to make sure it's effective, to make sure it works. So if we have 76% of 2, the 2 is the 2 ounces, the 76% is the amount of alcohol that I need for 2 ounces. If I was making this full 8-ounce container, which is 250 milliliters, I will still need 76% of 8 ounces. So your formulation never changes. When I multiply of, we know means time. And since I'm making 2 ounces, it's going to be 76% times 2. Now, that's as far as I'll go with it, because I have a lot of students that are both international as well as from the United States, and we're taught how to do math differently. But at the end of the day, you're taking 76% of the amount of the container amount of the amount that you're making. So we're making 2 ounces today. So 76% in the United States where I'm teaching, I would change this to a decimal. I would change the percent to a decimal. It's another way you can do this. You can multiply it by fractions. However you get 76% of the 2 ounces or the amount that you're making, that's how you want to do it. You have to do that when you're making a product. You do the math behind it for each and every ingredient. Those amounts must add up to your 2 ounces. For instance, 76% alcohol of my 2 ounces is going to be 1.5 ounce. That's important too, because as you get into larger sizes, that amount is going to change. I'm making 2 ounces. 76% times 2 ounces is going to be the number that I get when I put that in my calculator. If you're allowed to use a calculator, if you're a student, or if you allow your kids to use calculators, it's 1.5. It's 1.5 ounces. But if I go over to a gallon, that's going to change. Or when my numbers change, for instance, when I have to do the same thing for hydrogen peroxide. I need 3 millimeters or 0.6 teaspoons. And I want to make sure I don't get this too confusing. In our formulation for hydrogen peroxide, it calls for 4%. So we have to do the same thing. 4% times 2 is going to give me 0.6. We're on ounces. So what I would do is just Google 0.6. What's 0.6? Or how many teaspoons for an ounce? Because I have to translate the ounces into teaspoons. So that's for and all of this is in the lesson plan too. If I'm not making a lot of sense, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible and trying to teach from 2 different veins how things are taught internationally for our international students and how they're taught in the United States. So if I'm confusing you, I don't mean to, but please download the lesson plan and you'll be able to see it. But you go through each ingredient and you add those to get your amounts. So for the first thing we want to do is measure our ingredients, and we're measuring the alcohol into the beaker. So I'm going to take this 1.5 ounces of alcohol, pour it into the beaker, and then we're going to add the hydrogen peroxide. We'll put the hydrogen peroxide in, and I will take my stir, and I just kind of gently stir that and mix that up until it's mixed well. Once I'm done with that, I will take the glycerin. It is such a small amount of glycerin. The glycerin in this formula represents 1%. So I would use my pipette, if you have one, Or I actually recycled this one from some oil that I had because I left all of my pipettes in Charlotte. But I would take a small amount of glycerin and put that in it, and I would stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it.
And these, all of the ingredients that we're using, they are miscible. That's the term used in science, and it means that they all mix well together. When you mix them together, they form a uniform product.
Very good. So now I'm going to put the water. Our formulation calls for 19% water, and you're going to do that formula the same way. And you just take it and you stir this and mix it and stir it together. I use the beaker also because I have a spout on the end, and it's easier for me to take this and just pour it in. And you have your hand sanitizer. Now you also notice sitting up here is fragrance. Fragrance is optional. Ooh, this smells so good. So I'm not going to use fragrance in my hand sanitizer. You can also use colorant. And just a note about colorant or color, a lot of times when we're doing science projects, especially at school, we use food color. I'm not using colorant either, but we don't use food color. We do use cosmetic soap-based colorant, because food color is to do what? Change the color of food.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing to your skin. So you don't want to turn green. You don't use food coloring. You use actual real colorant that you can go to any hobby store, craft store, and get soap-based or cosmetic-based colorant. So we're not using that either. But typically, when you're using additives like oils or fragrances
Mm-hmm.
or colorant just to change the look or feel of a product, you only use about 1%. So you would take your dropper then, and you would do the math on it as well to see how much colorant or fragrance that you would use. And that's the biggest problem that we have when we're in class. A lot of times the girls will sneak and add more fragrance because it smells really good. But when you start adding more fragrance to your product, all you're doing is diluting, and this number is no longer 100%. All of your products must add up to 100%. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, you no longer have hand sanitizer, you have something else. And I don't know what that something else is, but it's not safe, it's not effective to be able to use. So any other questions that you see out there, Katrika, that I can answer? I know I kind of went through that math really fast. Everything we went through, sure, you can download it. This is our lesson plan. You'll be able to download the lesson plan and go through. And basically our lesson plans cover all aspects. We have the math in here. We have some extra activities for the kids in here to do the math. You're able to do, we have scenarios to where if you wanted to make 16 ounces, a quart, or a gallon, and we kind of go through the math with you here. And for the parents, if you want to adjust it for your kids, that's fine. But basically we teach this starting off in 3rd grade. So it just depends on your students and where they are, or your kids at home and where they are. It's a fun project to do, but keep in mind, just for 100% clear disclosure, the FDA does not recommend that you make hand sanitizer at home. And now that I've just gone through that math, maybe you can see why. Mm-hmm. That's why they don't. And it's better than hand sanitizer, actually, because another question that I got a lot is, I can't find alcohol. I can't find aloe vera. Everybody's having a hard time finding alcohol and aloe vera. Well, the difference between hand sanitizer and soap and water and washing your hands, because hand sanitizer, the chemicals in hand sanitizer, what did we say we was going to say, Katrika?
The chemicals in hand sanitizer, they can be very dangerous, especially the alcohol. So you do need adult supervision using those chemicals.
But why do you use hand sanitizer? How does hand sanitizer get rid of the germs? That's what I was.
Versus soap and water. So soap and water is more effective at getting rid of the germs and bacteria. hand sanitizer gets rid of most of them, but not as many germs and bacteria as washing your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water. And there is a question, someone asked if they can use pure, it's Michael, he asked if pure Castile soap will work as well. And yes, Castile soap is soap that's made from vegetable oil, and that is effective in cleaning your hands, getting rid of the germs and bacteria as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you use hand sanitizer, it's the chemicals that are getting rid of the germs. If you use actual physical soap and water, it's the soap and the water, and you're rubbing your hands, and it physically removes the germs. So it's a chemical process on one side, and if you're doing soap and water, it's a physical process. It's actually removing the germs. And I like to say, and away goes germs down the drain.
Yes.
Away goes germs down the drain. Yeah. Using this stuff, it's okay, it's fun to make, but it's very important that you get the math right. We have to get the math right and know what these products are doing to be able to rid the problem. Otherwise, don't do it. Use soap and water. We all have that. You haven't gone to the store and there's been a shortage of any soap and you have water at your house. So use soap and water. Continue to wash your hands. We're not in a season of convenience to where we just, it's easy to just, want to take some hand sanitizer and get rid of the problem, but it's just not, it's not that season.
Right.
So, do we have any other questions out there?
Yes, we have another question from Michael, and he's asking if we can use witch hazel. Witch hazel is an astringent. In some formulations of witch hazel do contain alcohol, but not enough alcohol for hand sanitizer. Witch hazel is an extract of a tree, and I'm not going to get the genus and species name right, but I believe it's Hamelia virginia. And it's basically an extract of that tree, like the bark and the leaves from that tree, and it works as an astringent. You may see hand sanitizer formulations in the store that contain a little bit of witch hazel, but they still contain 76% to 80% of, or 75 to 80% of alcohol. And Michael also asked if you can use Seagram's gin. And the answer would be no, because the gin does not have the highest a high enough percent of alcohol. You need at least 99% pure alcohol in order to make hand sanitizer. Okay.
Is food?
There's another question from Janelle. She's asking if food grade glycerin is okay to use. And the answer is yes.
Very good. You guys have some good questions out there.
Yeah. And actually the Seagram's gin, I believe, is 20 or maybe 40 proof, 20% alcohol. Wow.
That's amazing, but it does make sense because you're actually consuming that alcohol.
Yeah. Yep. And there are a lot of videos and blogs about making hand sanitizer, but if you go to the CDC's website or the FDA's website, they'll give you like the actual percentages, and it's the percentage that we use in this video.
Also, Patricia, I have another question that says, what if you're allergic to alcohol, you have eczema and it just dry you out? What else can you use besides alcohol and hand sanitizer to kill germs or to get rid of the germs?
The only thing I would say is just soap and water. And if you do have to go out, wear gloves. Even though I know gloves are hard to find right now, but cover your hands up any way you can. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. So parents, start getting those questions out. Yes. More science questions. We're going to turn it over to Asha to answer some questions for you, to bring and make some sense in this unsensible world at this point.
Okay.
All right. Unsensible world. That is a wonderful explanation of what's going on right now. So I thank you guys for being a part, and hopefully the whole aspect of the STEM program is so beneficial at this time with education. And one thing I just want to briefly talk about and working with our kids right now, this is different. We are on a whole mass change, even regards of how we're parenting, even our education and how we educate our kids at this point in time. We're having to be resourceful and take a different approach. One thing that I want to mention in this time is we're living in, so we cannot expect our to have that same normalcy as they did in a time when things are abnormal. And that is where sometimes the mental adjustment comes in with kids, that if we try to act like things are normal and they're feeling and they're sensing things are not normal, it shows up in different ways in their behaviors. It may, and I'm speaking now, you may have feelings now of nerves up in the house. Parents, you may see hyperactivity. You may see them being clingy to you, or children, you guys just want to be up under your parents at this point in time. This is for us to do things differently, spend that time with our kids, and having programs like the STEM program allows for hands. This is so beneficial and so healing. Anything I can say in the therapy to verbal processing, because it is use their mind, their hand. With this, it is helping the brain energy. We were talking about science and understanding that your thoughts and your everything in your body. So if we're putting constructive thoughts into our mind through our body, it's going to reduce the hyperactivity. It's going to reduce the anxiety that our kids are having and keep their thoughts focused, because they're using another part of the brain to work instead of that part that can go into depression or anxiety because of the environment and the things that are occurring. So things just to be aware of, parents and your kids, if you see them being extra hyper, more than normal, extra clingy, whiny, things that just restless, that's part of this. We're going through an adjustment. So I always say as a clinician, just to be mindful and talk to the kids about what is going on. Kids, talk to your parents. If you have not sure how to process this, talk it out, and being hands-on, because often trauma, stuck emotions get stuck in our bodies, and it shows up in physical illnesses or behaviors. So from this, we're having to learn how to be in the same space together. So there's been to be using on STEM products, STEM projects like this. So I'm hoping that more of this comes to be, as you know, how the information you provide is going to feel like they can help this or hopeless in this change. So I thank all for being a part. I thank the parents. Speak to you as well of being the parent, being the teacher, and then trying to go into therapy mode. To me, as to your teacher, the parent is not also trying to teach, because that's sometimes come in. We just for the parents to be a part of this as well.
Do we lose Asha?
It looks like it's loading. I think we lost her, but it looks like she's coming back.
Yeah, any parent
on board?
Yeah, you are now, Asha. We there you go. There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like I got lost. So if there are any everybody has, please post them any way that we can be a resource. But thank you, Katrika and Jacqueline, for this. As a mental health clinician, you have no idea how healing and therapeutic these activities are to help kids and keeping them focused and keeping them active during times like this. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I want to say thank you to the parents. Again, I want to thank to Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation for sponsoring this event today. Our partner, I want to say thank you to all the principals that are out there, our educators, our scientists, and especially to all of my family that came in and my party hosters who are hosting parties live today. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Family means so much. Right now, in fact, I'm home now with my family. I've escaped Charlotte for a while, but just want to just say thank you, man. I appreciate you all so much. We'll continue to do this. If you want the lesson plan, I know I kind of went through that math and it was kind of sketchy because I'm trying to teach in terms of all of our international students who are here. They're being taught math differently from the way we teach it in the United States. So I wanted to be mindful of that with our affiliates down in South Africa, as well as in South America and Central America. They're being taught differently. So I just, that's why it kind of was going in and out, or maybe the math was kind of sketchy, but please feel free to download the lesson plan if you have not received it, and do this with your kids at home. It's a fun activity, but also, most importantly, we want to make sure that you understand the science behind the product as well as the mathematics behind the product, and know what a formulation is. And you'll never look at a formulation or a recipe the same again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jacqueline, will you be posting a link to the lesson plan on your Facebook page, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. The only thing you have to make sure that you like, and if you're with us now, you have liked the Girls Pursuing Science website. I will put that link out there, and if for some reason you can't get it, just inbox us, suppose and say, hey, I can't get the lesson plan, and I would definitely email it out. If you actually registered through Eventbrite, I've sent the lesson plan out to everybody that registered on Eventbrite. But if you did not, we certainly will have it on our Facebook page. Also, we have a question: when is the next one? We do STEM Saturdays monthly. We usually do a project each and every month. Next month, we'll do a different live project. We also, after this shift, we're going to be doing classes online, workshops online in a private setting for kids, to where your kids will have to register, and we'll bring your kids in and make products with them online like we do at our regular STEM Saturday program. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I'm glad that you all appreciate it. I hope that we've answered all of your questions to the best of our ability. Anything else you want, any takeaways, Katrika or Asha?
I would just like to say thank you, everyone who listened and attended, and thank you for all the questions. And just thank you for joining us.
Asha?
That's it. Again, just reinforcing to be healthy, be mindful, understand our bodies are our temples. So right now, all that we take in, all that we process, it's a science. So being mindful of what you do. And this is the time just to be still and be in gratitude and get creative. You know, this is the time I challenge all children, you know, it's things you can find. Well, I'm going to pause because I know sometimes my son is very inquisitive and can come up with all kind of science projects, and I don't want him blowing up the bathroom, but this is the time to get inquisitive, you know, learn how to make Play-Doh, you know, things at home that you can do and get creative, build things, you know, challenge yourself on what can you create from home around you, and getting the mind active is going to help all of us in doing so with that. So again, thank you for this and this information being provided.
Thanks everyone for coming out today and spending your Saturday morning with us, and spending an hour with us on Saturday morning. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue to follow us. And again, we want to send a special hashtag out to the Harvey Foundation, the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, as well as the staff over there. They do such an excellent job in working with us and helping us to keep us live and on the air and bringing you the knowledge. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Blessings.